Hello, everybody. I'm home and we're back. And it is so good to see you. I've got lots of stuff to show you today. I keep moving these shells around that I brought back from the beach because they're getting sand. They're leaving sand on my counter, and it's like, no sand. But let me see. When I get on here in a hurry, I'm always like disheveled, and I have to try to neaten myself up. So hello, let's see all who is here. Oh, is Michelle there? Did I see Michelle's? Hi, Michelle. How much snow? We have been watching you, and Rhode Island got hammered. So let us know how much snow you got, sweetie. There's Nikki. Hi, Susan Smith. And I just wanted to show you. Come here, Polly. Come here. Come here. Up. Come here. Up. Oh, let me see. Hold on. My granddog, Polly, is here with us today. So we are having such a good time. My daughter went out of town, and so I went over and got her. I said, we'll keep her. We'll keep her. We love having her here. And she looks so much like Patricia Fry's dog. So we love her to bits. So anyway, hello. It's so good to see you, Ray. Marcia, Sonia, and Susan's back. Yay. And Betty. Oh, hi, sweetheart. Oh, I received the sweetest email from Betty. It got me choked up. And but please keep Betty and her husband in your thoughts. They've had a rough couple of weeks. So just be thinking of them. He's in the hospital. We're hoping he's going to get well really soon. And it's been a challenge for them. So we love you, Betty. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. And Debbie's here. And it is so good to see Kathy Klein. Hi, sweetie. It's so funny. Every time Kathy Klein comes in, she signs in with all her cool sewing emojis. And the YouTube filter goes, whoa, she's showing scissors. But you know what, Kathy? You keep signing in that way, darling, because we love it. We love it. And Nikki, Alberta Powell is here. Hi, sweetie. Diane 57 is here. How wonderful. Oh, my gosh. It's so good to... He is home now. Oh, thank goodness. I tell you what, modern medicine is amazing. So I'm so glad he's getting better every day. And the main thing now is to make sure you keep up his spirit, because having a problem with your heart can kind of lead to depression. So just be careful, be on the lookout, because I know you're glad that he's home and getting better, and that's wonderful. So we got to keep him moving on and moving up, okay? Oh, my gosh. So Michelle has 24 inches of snow. Good gosh. Michelle wins. The contest is over. Michelle got snowed out. Let me tell you. Michelle, that's amazing. We were wondering, because we were seeing up in that direction. And when we would watch the Weather Channel, the guy would get out and just say, look at this snow coming down in Rhode Island. It's like, yep. But, oh, Michelle, you are a brave gal. I'm glad you didn't lose power or internet or anything. But, you know, it's so funny. Down here in the South, we get 2 inches, and then, whoa, everything has to stop. Michelle's up there going, yeah, just a couple feet, whatever. That's exciting, Michelle. That's exciting. So I'm glad to be home. It was nice for me to get away, but I've got to tell you, oh, you did. You got a little red toy poodle. Oh, that's like my Maisie. I'm not sure where Maisie is. I think she's probably upstairs. In fact, I don't even know where my Gromit is. Gromit, Who knows? He'll be back soon. But, I'm happy for you, Dope. There he is. Here's my Grummy. I can't do a show without Grummet. I mean, I'm lost. In the morning when Mark lets him out, I can't go back to sleep until he's in bed beside me. I mean, who is more attached, me or him? So I'll never forget telling the vet how attached we were. You have a Harry the Husky, and telling the vet how attached he is to me. And he said, well, be careful because before you know it, he'll be following you to the bathroom. Really? Oh, I guess that wouldn't be good, huh? I mean, he lays on the rug while I take a shower. He's always there for me. And when I got back from being away for almost a week to Myrtle Beach, oh my gosh, he was crying and jumping on me and kissing me and jumping on me and kissing me. And it was hilarious. You named her Amber. Oh, that's sweet. Diane, I'm so excited. How old is she? And we want pictures. We love pictures of your babies. So, okay. Got a few little things to show you. So I got back Tuesday night, and I think I told y'all Thursday. I was tired, but I did this show because I thought, I hate not to be there when, I love y'all so much, and I'm always afraid if I'm not here, y'all might say, well, I'll just go over to that other show. Because, there's lots of shows out there. 9 weeks old. So it's probably all of what, 2 or 3 pounds? Oh, my gosh. But anyway, I've been taking it easy the past few days. If you're out there listening from England, you'll be happy to know I went, you know what? I need to take a break because this is kind of exhausting. And that's what I do now. The thing I've found about being 65 is you can go and do, but then you're going to pay for it. So after I come back for something, it's like, I'm tired. I'm all tired. So, you all have your quilter's coats. Let me tell you, I watched Miss Mary Fonz, and I had maybe less than a pound. And I watched Miss Mary Fonz, and she was on a mission. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. Because evidently it's a thing now in fashion to cut up an antique quilt and turn it into a tote or a coat or a vest or a collar or whatever. And she's like, you know what? You're cutting up history. You're cutting up someone's life memories, all of that. And I listened to her and I thought, she's got a very good point, because the designers that are doing this have no idea what quilts mean to us in history. When you've made a quilt, the number of hours that go into it, the amount of work, the amount of your heart that goes into it, whether it's a special occasion quilt or whether you just have to have a blanket for the babies, or whether it's something to say, I feel creative, I want to do something that shows that creativity, and I want somebody to know I'm here. And so if they're buying up quilts and just for the purpose of cutting them up into fashion, that's not smart, because once you've cut a quilt, you can't ever get it back. It's like one time I was at a county board meeting, and they were talking about approving neighborhoods, approving roadways. And the one thing that the president of the board said, once you clear that land and put a neighborhood in, you'll never get that land back. It's gone. And that really impacted me. So I really liked what Mary said. And I just want to add, once you cut that antique quilt up, you'll never get it back. It's gone. And, now, if you have an antique quilt where it is beyond saving, I have an antique quilt that my wonderful friend, Mr. Hyatt, Bill Hyatt, gave me. And I took it to have it appraised, and it's in such poor condition. It was loved to death. that it has no value, no monetary value, but a lot of sentimental value. And the fact that it was loved so much, to me, makes it more special. But if you have a quilt that has a really bad, like half of it is bad and there's really nothing you can do, I don't see anything wrong with turning it into something else you can love. But I totally agree with her that people just buying up quilts anywhere they can get them with no regard to what that quilt is. I mean, we're still having a hard time in this country labeling quilts, finding out what are the treasures. We haven't found all of our treasures because we've just started regarding them in the last 10, 20 years as works of art. So I agree. I'll never forget when there was the quilt that won the big prize, and the weatherman, oh gosh, I've forgotten his name now, said, "That much for a blanket?" Woo, the quilt world was not happy with him. These are not blankets. These are works of art, works of heart, which is even more important. So I thought that was really good. You might want to go check out Mary Fonz. I think she also labels herself as the quilt geek, but she has taken on the cause of quilting with her whole entire heart. So I did watch that this week. And then so far as being creative, all the energy I had was to do 2 Dorset buttons. And that was as much as I could handle, sorry to say. And, but these were a lot of fun. So those were fun. And they're nice little things I can keep by my chair. And I don't have to invest a lot of time or energy into them or thought. It's just kind of after you make a couple. Well, let me see what y'all are saying down here. Oh, thank you for sharing a picture, Diane, of the puppy. We love puppies. Oh, now, Mary, that is absolutely beautiful. In fact, have you seen, if you go look for a tree, it was on the Washington Post, and it's a 500-plus-year-old tree that is it's marked to be cut for sale. It'll earn like $10,000. But the thing is, it's full of so much carbon. It supports a whole ecosystem of other plant life, animal life. It's escaped the logger's saw because it was in a difficult ravine, but now someone's found it. And it's particularly desirable because it's so tall and straight, where normally the spruces aren't so straight. And it's in Alaska, and it is wonderful. They somehow managed to take a drone and film the tree from the very top all the way to the bottom, where you see the blue slash of paint saying, "Cut it down." And so it makes you think, And the one thing I learned from reading the article is that trees do not absorb carbon from the atmosphere until they're older. That's when they really come into their own and do the most work for our plant, for all life on the earth. So just think about it before you make these quick decisions. It's a little balancing act. And some people say, well, it's just a tree. It's not just a tree. There's a whole lot more that goes into these decisions. And that's where, as quilters, I kind of think we already walk a little softer on the earth. And I think we already appreciate things. Without the cotton, we wouldn't be able to have this way of life that we love so much. So enough for all of that. But, okay, let me see. Where do I start? I've already had some people asking for patterns of my winter, my little winter scene, that the cabin in the winter woods. And just want to tell you that after I got off the air Thursday night, I haven't touched it. I'm sorry, but I go away for a week. It takes me a week to recover, okay? So, and it's not that you wait until you're so inspired and then all of a sudden you do a Monet. No, but it's just, you don't want to be so exhausted that you're like, okay, I'll try to do this. That doesn't work. That doesn't make for good artwork. But I promised myself to sit here after we're done, finish making all the little tweaks. Another reason is I've been upstairs and I need a good big table to spread this open and work on it. So, but it's mostly there, and I'll make sure to put all the finishing touches. I will go up, and Mark has already said he'll help me get it scanned, because it's going to be, by the time I have to fold it to get the whole thing, it'll be 6 pages, and it won't take much ink because it's just outline drawing. But I will get that up, and anybody that's waiting to get a pattern of it, I will have it up and ready tonight. So, and while I've, sure, okay, and I will put it for everyone who belongs to our site. I will put it up on the site so you can download it anytime you want or save it to your computer or whatever. If you aren't onto our site or can't get to our site, then just drop me an email at OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com. And, oh, thank you. Who got that good message? Carol, way to go, Carol. So, we've been getting some spam of late. So, but anyway, this week when I was sitting in my recliner, taking it very easy, I've got to tell you, I have this square box computer. That's a computer. Cooler that I took my refrigerated foods up in. And it's about 4 cubic feet. And that puppy's heavy when it's loaded. And that's why we love it, because it's so thick and well insulated, but it's heavy. I pulled my muscles near my ribs trying to get it back into the car. So at least I didn't hurt my back this time, but I pulled some muscles. So I had to take it easy this week. And, but anyway, if you just, oh, good. If you just please shoot me an email at OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com. I'll share any pattern that I have created that you would like. Now, got something to show you. I was thinking about this class I took. If you want to do the class, I'll share the pattern name that you can go buy. But I can't share anything. Oh, who hurt their knee? So, Pat Fry says, I forgot to take home. I got your picture, Pat. I'm going to show everybody today. Yeah, I left there, and evidently they got snow. But, Pat, be glad. There's Charlene Lawson. Be glad, Pat, because Michelle Lang up in Rhode Island got 24 inches of snow. So we're very, very, very lucky. All right. So I was sitting there thinking, I had that great class on the curve design. And you notice I haven't gotten any farther on that since I got home either. I'm sorry. I had to put my feet up and take it easy. So, but that is such a beautiful pattern. And wait till you see it done, okay? I think you're going to love it. But I can't share anything like that with you on here because it would violate someone's copyright. So you're welcome to purchase the pattern. I think it was like $10.50. You can download it as a PDF, print it right out, and be sewing on it this afternoon. So I will share that information with you. But I thought, what can I do for those of you who can't afford a pattern or and would like to learn the technique that I learned? Because my wonderful teacher, Joanne, did a great job of, Joanne Shropshire, and she did a great job of teaching me some techniques to make it easy. So what I did is, not wanting to copy this, wanting to do my own thing, I'm always looking for ways to use up scraps. So I came up with this block. And this way, it's very scrap friendly, but it still has this one piece. And how do you sew this on and get a nice flat block? Because if you look there, every curved edge is this, except this is a solid piece. And then you've got this. And I'm going to show you a little bit later on today how the 3-step method to get that perfect curve. And I will be showing it to you. If you have the Curve Master Foots that were going around 10 years ago and you bought one, hold on to it because that will really help. So what I've done is this, you have to print 4 of these out for each 12-inch block. And here's a colorized just to kind of give you ideas. And I think I'm going to do something in a planet kind of motif. I'll see. But this is a template that you need to cut. If you have template plastic, that's great. If you don't, you have a cereal box. Anything you can take and cut a template. And the outer line is the cutting line. The inner line is the stitching line. So I will give you the hints, but this pattern is now available, and it's called Scrappy Curves Out of This World. And I will send you the 3-page pattern if you send me an email at OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com. And that way you can work on this as you want. But we've really been enjoying some of the scrappy quilts, getting rid, not having to go out and spend new money. And all you need with, that's not necessarily, you could do a scrappy background here, but that little piece right there. So that's also available, and it's called Scrappy Curves. So just email me, ask for that. I will be putting this one on the website too. I never thought I would do quilt designing, but I'm kind of enjoying it. So at least when it's on a small level like that. So anyway, but don't forget, I do have that available. All right, but it's a way for me to teach you curve piecing methods and some really good tricks. So first thing I'm going to show you, let me pull this in a little closer. I did stop by the beach. Whoops, a pebble just came out of this little puppy. But I stopped by the beach, and here's part of a conch shell. And, even though it's just a part of one, I still love it. I mean, look at that. Wasn't it the Guggenheim Museum was based on one of these? Isn't that amazing? So, okay. Yes, it's absolutely okay to recycle something that can't be used in the when it comes to quilts. If I had a quilt that was mostly bad but had one good area, it's perfectly fine to make something you'll treasure with it, make a pillow or whatever. Some quilts can't be saved. And like the one I have, which I said I was going to show y'all, I will have to show you soon, the very next time. In fact, let me write it on my list, because you know me, if I don't write it down, I forget it. But it's the only antique quilt I have, and it does have some fabric that dates to the Civil War. So I wrote it down here so I won't forget, because sometimes I get off of here and just like a sieve, So on the beach, I found these, and they are some form of plant life that's under the ocean. I used to, when I was 16, I took a marine biology course, a hands-on course, and I would have known what this is, but 16 was a long time ago. almost 50 years ago. So got the conch shell. And this is part of a heavy, heavy clamshell. Look at all the layers. Isn't that amazing? So what I'm going to do is let me show you something really quickly. I found this on the beach, and when it got wet, look at the beautiful colors that come out in it, and the pattern, the striations. So what I'm going to do, I think, is try to figure out how to make it a little bit lighter weight. I'd love to make this into a pendant for a necklace. And if I just put a finish on it, then I'll have those wonderful striations. I bet you it's something like each year they grew by adding another layer. And that's how it got. Here is another one that when it gets wet, look at all of the beautiful striations. Almost reminds me of a planet, like Jupiter or Saturn. I know it's just a little clamshell, but it's a pretty little clamshell. And then this, I'm wondering what this is. Sometimes we find stuff that might be something fossilized, or maybe it's part of a scallop shell that got slightly broken and put back together. I don't know. But I had the best time walking the beach and finding, this is a scallop shell. Isn't that pretty? Now, I don't know when you'd ever see these little animals anywhere near the beach, but when I was little, we used to see the horseshoe crabs. They were fascinating because they were right from the prehistoric time. But aren't these sweet little shells? So let me just show you real quickly. I know you're saying shells. Okay, we've seen shells before, but it's just when you're walking the beach, I see why so many people do this. It's like finding a little treasure. Look at that one. Isn't that neat, the color? And to find one that's almost perfect is a pretty cool thing. Now this one's a little more fossilized. Look at that. So that's been around for quite a while. All right. So later when I show you the photos, I'll show you the actual pictures from me being at the beach. But it was lovely, and I told Mark at some point we've got to move closer to the ocean because I love it. I really do love it. All right, now my expensive trash bag pulled off the cabinet handle. It's so funny. I have trash cans everywhere, but if I see an empty plastic bag, I've got to turn it into something. I don't want it just to go to waste, so it becomes a trash bag. So, and I just put it wherever I am. I find that for me, especially in a very busy sewing room like I have, the more trash containers I keep, the tidier I can keep it. So that's the key to keeping things neat and tidy. So, all right. So I've shown you that I really am going to finish the winter pattern because Thursday night I've got my muslin picked out. I love to use muslin for my foundation. And in fact, I started looking. I need to buy another bolt of it because I've been running through it. And don't let me forget to show you what I'm thinking about. What is going to be our next Sunday project, our next main sewing project? What are our goals that we have here? So we're going to work on that. Okay, the only other thing that I have been working on this past week, and I kind of hate in some ways to show you because it's been years since I did hand embroidery. I'm not very good at it anymore. The name, yes. I don't know. And you know what? Here it is. I got it from the Schoolhouse Quilt Company. And they're a store, so they're not the manufacturer. But boy, they don't have a name on it. But it is the coolest thing. It's got an internal insert bag, so you can spray even upside down because it maintains that pressure. I love it. You wear whatever direction you need to spray. So, because before I spent $10 for that, I would spend $2 for this. But I love that spray bottle. The other thing I love about it is how fine the mist is. So fine. So it just, you don't have to get something sopping wet to have a nice even coverage. And trust me, if you're having trouble getting steam fold marks out or anything like that, if you will use that spray bottle, plus if you have one of the woolly mats, put the woolly mat down between your spray bottle and the woolly mat, it will take those fold marks right out. Take them right out. Some people swear by a thin down mixture of vodka and water. If it works, it works. Hi, Miss Jody. It is so good to see everybody. Okay, so I have been working on, it really shows up in I'm having trouble. I even drew circles on it. I'm having trouble staying on the circles, especially when I do something complicated like is keeping an angle and staying on a real circle is tricky. But this one I love because I did a blanket stitch and then put the little bud on the tips of that. But I could have done a better job on my trellis circle. But I finished this one. And one thing I love is it doesn't really show it yet, but I have metallic threads stuck in with the pearl cottons. So that's fun. So I keep this by my chair and I work on it. And editing is a problem I have because I thought I had done good. I went and drew my circles. I took off the white things that Mark said made them look like they had the box. I took those off except one, kept my one. But then I went and found other people's work and looked at how they place their circles and what attracted me to their design. And the one I loved best was not too busy, but they all were slightly overlapping or under, so that they, not so much that you only saw little snippets, but that everything felt connected. So I liked that. But then when I came back in the room and I said, I drew all my circles, he said, that's going to be busy. And I went, oh, okay. So thank goodness I met Mark because he helps me edit. And that is something I do have a hard time with. I'm sorry. When I buy my plants for the summer and plant my back deck, he said, it looked like a bordello. And I said, good, then it's almost there. So I tend to, if a little bit's pretty, I'll put a whole lot. So having a little self-control, having a little editing is something I struggle with. I wanted to show you these. These are the Karen K. Buckley's. I've told you about her perfect circles, the small ones that have a hole in them that she keeps on a key ring. Well, these are the larger circles by Karen K. Buckley. And you can put them in the fabric, fold the fabric over and press. They are heat resistant and they come in, not just 3, 2.5, 2 1/4, 2, but very close sizes and shapes. Really, really, really nice to have. Like there's this size, but then look at this one. It's just a touch smaller, 1/8 of an inch. Isn't that nice? So she gives you this whole pack of them, and you can get them pretty much anywhere sewing products are sold. Karen K. Buckley, perfect circles, and these are the bigger perfect circles. And let me show you this label on the back, Karen K. Buckley's Perfect Circles. Okay. They are wonderful and they're perfect for this project because I keep them around. When you do a bigger circle, then you come in and decide what size to do the next one. Between this and the ones that are smaller and on the key ring, I can do any size circle I want. So just thought I would show you that. Then let me show you what's in my bag of goodies. Because I do like, this is the part I like. When I get ready to do a project, I go around and say, what would I like to use for this project? So I get my needles, little small scissors, and I look for threads that might work. Well, you know, I've got this color, which is kind of a peachy. So I may keep this in mind. And this is an Aurifil, but it's a very heavy Aurifil. Let me see if it still has the weight on it. The weight of this is a 12. So this is a very heavy thread. But isn't it pretty? Then, have you ever seen these? YLI carries these, and hopefully they still do. But these are, it's a woven thread that when you pull one of the strings, it's made of like probably more than 9 plies. But when you take and pull out one of the threads, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You can ruche it right up. Oh, thank you. You're right. And so I have this that might look pretty with the colors. So I'm going to consider using this for some visual interest. All right, then I've got, making a mess here. And I can see a problem I'm having. I got a white marking pencil. It's a NONCE, Nonce, and it's working pretty good. Keep a pencil sharpener handy. Now, I started with these pearl cotton hanks that I got from Michael's, but I'm going through this stuff so quickly, I might have to put in another order. Luckily, they're under $2 each, so it's not a big expense, but I hate to have to go back to the store just to get them. All right, this is the thread that's unwinding and giving me a fit. So let me tuck it back in. I've always wondered, how do they get so messy? They're just sitting in a bag, but they do. They have a good time. So this is a holographic thread. I use this for some of my thread painting, and I'm sorry, I don't even remember what it is and where I got it. I picked out some, as I saw beads, I picked some out. This is a pearl white, not really a metallic, but almost. I got that. I got a gold. I got a copper and a silver. And I'm going to try combining them with threads to make it really interesting. All right. Now, let me see. So that's, you know, when I get ready to work on a project, I'd start looking for things. I picked up some beads, but I'm also going to probably want some pearl beads. But then I just keep all of this in this sack, and wherever I go, I've got everything I need to work on the project. So now let me come back up here. Okay. All right. Woo, might have to close those blinds. Sun's coming in. All right. So I just take this upstairs with me, and then I'm ready to stitch. And I've kind of got to be in the mood. I've got to be in the mood to do something creative, but you just pick a stitch and go with it. Mark and I, yesterday, we binged watched a series on, I think it was, binge watched a series on Acorn. It was a British series. We enjoyed it. We watched all 8 episodes. So I got a lot of stitching. And I'm really enjoying these loops. You have to figure out, how do I put this on the piece? And that's what's tricky sometimes. But I love not having that stupid screw that gets in the way. In fact, I should show you, how do you load this? Okay. Let me tilt it back down. I'm giving you the trip, the around the world trip today. Okay. So first thing, take out the metal. Now you've got the plastic. All right. Here, I just happen to have this muslin right here. Pretend these are your layers of muslin. I put this on the bottom first, okay? This is the pretty side. It goes right down. Hi, Charlene Piper. And so we've got both of our Charlenes today. Yay! So this is the plastic part under the material. Now, if you know a better way, please tell me. I had to figure this out myself. Then what you do is you hold this so that this metal stuff is below the handles. You wouldn't be able to put it on that way. These little squeeze handles would get in the way. So you make sure this lowest point is facing down. Now remember, I said that this is the pretty side. It's going down to the plastic ring. Then you take this and lay it. You got it tightly squeezed. You lay it within the ring. You're kind of feeling around. Yep, it's placed right. Then you let it go. And there you go. And it's very, very easy to get it in, and you can make it looser or tighter, whichever way you want, okay? So let me do that one more time. Okay, so this is the side that you want to do. This is the side you're going to look at and work off of. You lay this ring down, you put the pretty side down, and you lay this here with this lower side, goes into the ring like that, and you let it go. That is so much easier. Now, it's a little harder if you want to make it tighter, but I don't, because sometimes when I embroider, I won't even use a hoop. But I've found with this, I do enjoy using a hoop. So that's, if you buy one of these and you're like, how am I supposed to work this? How does this work? There you go. All righty. Oh, let me loosen this just a touch. Okay. All right. Let me put this back on so I don't lose it. Ta-da! All right. So I really like it. Really like it. All right. Trying to decide what to do next. I'm going to go ahead and go here. I lay all these things around, and then, all right. So I don't know. Usually I try to have something new to start with you. Sometimes I try to have something new to start with you on these Sundays, and I like to keep a new project going. Whew. Sorry, on Thursday night. Well, one of the things that's really been bothering me, because I've got this new quilt here, then I haven't finished quilting my little swirly Christmas trees. I have not quilted my Christmas block of the week yet. And so I start to get a little antsy. And I don't like that feeling, because when I get antsy like that, I cannot be creative. So one thing I wanted to do is I looked over at my table at all my UFOs. Now understand, I have over 100 UFOs. But one thing I've been promising myself, no longer do I want to let UFOs pile up. I can't go back and fix the ones I started piling up 10, 15 years ago, but I can start now, and hopefully eventually, because one of the things I worry about, I'm getting old enough that I worry about my quilting legacy, and I worry, if it's an unfinished project, is it going to end up in the trash? So a finished project is much easier to keep, give away, or sell, right? So that's what I think. So I've got this that we did in the art quilt, one of the art quilt landscapes. I'd really love to finish this. This is a sweet piece. And you can see where I've done some of the quilting and the thread painting and stuff through it. And then I started doing some of the confetti for the tree. So I'd like to see this through. I used some skills with that I don't normally use, and I'd like to follow that through with that. Then there's this one, and I was doing some cool stuff with this where I was starting to couch and do heavy thread painting, but I'd like to finish this one. This is my sheep in the fields with the mountains behind. Try Florida. Yeah, Florida has prettier shells. So that's one I want to finish. I mean, I get embarrassed when I look at how many that we're sitting in one pile waiting. This is one I think I started before. This one has probably been in progress almost 5 years. And I like a lot of the stuff I'm doing here, and I'd like to finish it. So one of the things that I'm going to be working on is, instead of starting a whole new project with you coming up, is instead let's talk about certain skills. And that way I'm not starting new stuff that I have no hope of finishing. Then I love this one. This, I figured out a lot of things, and I was going to go back over it and work on it, and it's just really, really sweet. And I'd like to finish this one, get it done. Then I was telling people on Thursday that, remember my tiger that I started thread painting, and I got the filing woolly thread that you can comb. It looks like fur. I'm feeling kind of excited at the thought of entering another quilt in a contest. Well, I've got to finish it first. So what I'm trying to tell you is I'll work on different skills each week, maybe a skill that I'm evaluating while I try to finish these art quilts. But art quilts are my heart, and I do want to finish them. And I feel like, in a way, those are kind of my legacy. So I urge you to consider, what do you want for 2022 to mean for you? And for me, it's going to be really stick to exercising. I'm making myself do it. And then finishing up some very special, I'll probably start on the quilts that mean the most to me. Makes sense, right? Why spend a block of time on a quilt that really doesn't have your interest anymore? Okay? So now let's get to this. Plus, I like taking classes. I want to be able to take classes and then share some of the fun stuff I learned with you. I'm going to pull out, I do want to finish this quilt because it's going to be beautiful. The thing I think I love the most is this teal fabric. It's just magic. So I can't wait to work on that more. So get it finished. And this is Tula Pink fabric. All the solids are shimmery Tula Pink. Love, love, love it. My first real Tula Pink one. Okay. So get this out. Now we're going to have a little workshop. Then after we do this little workshop, I'm going to go to photographs. I've got some great photos to show you. People have been sending them in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Here we go. I've got what I need. Let me show you these templates. But I've got it. All right. Now, this is a big template. We don't need that one right at this moment. I showed you the last 2 weeks. What if you get the template plastic that was rolled up on a roll? It's very convenient to take with you, but how do you make it stop rolling back up? I showed you about ironing it on a very low temperature with a cover piece of paper, plain piece of paper. So now let me bring you back down and show you this. I've got to get a glue stick. Hold on. Let me find my glue stick. Oh, I will use this part from a kit that I got from Miss Nadine. Okay. So this is a wonderful glue stick. All right. So what we're going to do, let me bring over this light. All right. Here, we're going to do a small one today. Here is, now I have these in 3 sizes because of the quilt pattern I used, had 3 sizes of this shape. Some people would say, oh, it's like a drunkard's path. Yes. And if you notice, when I made that pattern that I will share with you for free, when I made that pattern, I did the same basic shape. Okay. Oops, let me bring this down a little bit more. I made the same basic shape. Let me find that pattern so I can show you again. Here it is, okay? So here is that shape. Here's that shape, okay? So here it is, in one small size. Here it is on a little bigger size. But I'm mainly focusing on this little size because I have some extras that I cut out. All right, so I'm going to get one of these. I showed you this at Myrtle Beach last week, but I couldn't change the camera angle. So now I want to show you when I can. Here is that one center block sewn together. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take one of these yellow quarter ovals. Okay, yellow quarter ovals. Then I'm going to get 2 applique pins just because they were the easiest to use. Then I'm going to take this quarter oval and fold it absolutely in half like this, like a little ice cream cone. And then I'm going to just press right here. And I don't see my little wooden iron, but if you have a bone folder or wooden iron, that'll work perfectly. And you'll see now it's got a nice sharp curve right at the center of this arc. Then you're going to take this cute little piece and you're going to fold this together like this. Make sure you get them, make sure you get the point. Now you can mark this if you want, but I prefer to get on with my business. So I fold it in half, take the bone folder or your fingernail, and now I have a sharp curve for the middle of this. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and this is going to be the seam. Let me see, hold on. Let me look at it. This is going, yes, this inside is going to be the seam allowance. I hope, it's only been a week and she's forgetting, but you put some glue in the seam allowance on each end of this part. This is really, really important, and I will show you why. Okay, so then this is going to be put on like this, and believe it or not, this will fit when you actually go to do it. Oh, you like Which bracelet? I love both of them. This one I bought the beads, and this one I got from Missouri Star Quilt Company. This is my new signature bracelet. Well, I've had it for a few months. Okay, so now here's the glue, and here is the glue. And I'm going to take, whoops, well, this way, put this way. And what you do is you line this up, because these two curves are going to be sewn this way. So you've got the glue. See where it's sticking right there? Got the glue. Then this is why I like to use an applique pen, because I want to keep it out of my sewing path, so I don't have to worry about running over the needle. I mean the pen with my sewing needle. So then I come around, okay? You come around and you put this on this side and you push on the glue. Look, it holds. Isn't that nice? That is the neatest thing. And then I come on this side carefully, pinning it, keeping this little applique needle out of my sewing path, okay? Then you can see right here, if you want, you could put a third pin right there, match up the two little indentions, because that is the middle of each. But I like to float them as I sew them, okay? So now I'm going to bring this over here. Let me close the shade again, because it is way too bright. Okay. All right. So now what we'll do is let me bring in this and just show you how. Thank you, Nadine, for my Applique method tools. They come in handy for lots of things. All right, making sure I'm going to turn my sewing machine stitch down to 1.8 because I want to take it slowly and carefully. It's much better to take it slowly and carefully than to tear it out later. Okay, whoops, my needle is not threaded. Hold on. Let me get it. Okay. Go under here. And I'm going to show you how you gently ease in this, okay? So we've got it glued in the seam allowance. A tiny, if you don't have applique pens, just use a pen, keep it out of the way. But it just makes it easier for me to remember. All right, I'm going to put this under my presser foot. I turned my stitch length down to 1.8. I just want to make sure. Now, before you line up the fabrics, before you turn or twist anything, just take at least 3 stitches. Whoops. Let me get on the fabric. That I'm just going in straight. Okay. I wish I had used a leader or ender. Hold on. Let me get one going. Okay. This makes it so much easier when you're starting something. So here we go. Okay. So now this is nice and lined up perfectly. And so I'm going to push it under here, right 1/4 inch. And when it gets to this fabric, take 1, whoops, come on, 2, 3. You take 3, put your needle down. Stop with the needle down. Now you can start lining up and getting your fabrics ready to sew around the curve. Okay, so you glued it, pinned it, and then you start sewing it straight on first before you touch and move anything. Then carefully sew while you're making sure you're on that 1/4 inch. And then just gently adjusting it. The curves are on the bias, so they want to stretch and bend. Make sure you keep the top fabric straight. You don't want pleats. And this is a tiny, tiny little piece of fabric. These were the biggest pains in the necks when I was sewing at the class. All right, let's see. Look, pull it. Well, I was sewing in my room, but the teacher told me, don't worry. Everyone felt like I did, that these tiny ones were pains. All right, so see how I just keep adjusting. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pop out this little needle because it wants to hold that fabric too much, and I'm worried that if I leave this pen, if I leave that pen there, I'm afraid it's going to make a pleat. So you just take your time, come around. If you're very impatient, this is not a good pattern for you. So, and I'm impatient. I had to learn to slow down. Then here, this is where I love using a wooden skewer. I don't like the stilettos that are metal. I'm too afraid of catching them under the needle. So I love a wooden. It's a lot more forgiving. And if the needle hit this little wooden skewer, it's a big deal. It'll split the skewer. But this way, I hold this because I want it to go straight in at 1/4 of an inch. I do not want it to veer off one way or the other. So now I'm done with that. Take it out, cut the thread. Come on. Okay. And then let me get my little scissors. Looks like I caught one little pleat. Let's see if I can kind of rub it out with my finger. Take out the pin. And what I do is I let this stay in that upward position like this. And then I just come and push the fabric up with my finger like this. If you have a wooden iron or your fingernail or like this bone folder, you can then gently crease this over like it's going to be, like that. And so now you have, and look how it fits so good. And yeah, the pleat's barely noticeable, but I think I can iron that out. All right. So now you see how you really can do this, and you don't need any kind of special tools and magic anything. And there you go. And this one is much, much harder to do than the bigger ones. Okay? Who did an ouch? Oh. Oh no, Jody. Where did you cut yourself and how badly, hon? Oh, sweetie, I hate that. I've been so lucky I've cut fingernails, but that's as close as I've gotten. Okay, let me move this back over. I'm so sorry. We want a picture. Maybe we don't. But anyway, so now I showed you how to do this. And this, remember, this is much harder than the other ones that are a little bigger. I'm going to get my iron warmed up so I can press it and show it to you. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. That'll kind of ruin your day, won't it? Ooh. Now, let's say you want this to lay really flat. What I suggest is that you starch your fabric before you cut them. But then let's say this is a tricky piece. You know you've got biases and you want it to lay flat. Use some starch. Okay, let me bring up the camera over here. Whoops! I think I need to tighten up that little. There we go. All right, get this out of the way. Bring this a little closer. You notice I starched this and now I left it be for a second while I talk. And that's so that the starch will sink in, and it shouldn't leave all those little white flakes, because those flakes come from starch that's sitting on the surface. And now you saw me do this, not a good idea. Try to put it down and press. Put it down and press. I'm impatient and I jiggle it, but don't jiggle it. Okay. So now let me show you what this looks like. And I think that's pretty good. Now, if I wanted this to make sure this was exactly 2.5 inches, I would come in and square it up. Okay? So that is something you're able to do. But the main good part is how flat we got. Oh, I'm sorry, Jody. That's got to hurt. Oh, when you take a shower, ouch, that has got to hurt. One time, I had one of those, what are those cutters that you take like a potato and you slide? They start with an M. And you take a potato and slide it across the blade. Well, I sliced off this outer tip of my finger and down into the white part, you know, and I'm still missing, you know, it's like a curved corner. Oh, I forgot. But anyway, I don't use that anymore. I do not like that tool. It tried to take off my finger. And, you know, you just can't. When I see chefs do it, it makes me so nervous. I have to change the channel. So, anyway. Mandolin, yes, those mandolin slicers. Oh, my gosh. I was like, that's it. I'll never use it again. And I didn't want to throw it away because I thought if somebody's braver than me, but I wrote on it in big letters, dangerous. So, I mean, it took off that whole corner. But Jody, you win the day because that's a tricky thing. All right, so I've shown you how to do that. And let me see over here. I had my heater on, and honestly, it was so hot that it made me feel a little ill. All right, so I've got the rest of this to work on, and that's all good. And then don't forget that I've got this pattern if you would like it. And I'm trying to do something. I'm still kind of piddling with this. And that's a Southern term, meaning messing with it or working on it. But I'm thinking I would like these four to go together as like a planet, you know? Have a really cool background. I don't know. But I was thinking of how can I make a kind of curved edge, and it probably would be really hard. So I'm not promising anything, but I did learn how to draw with an arc and how to make it dip one way or dip the other way. So I got some good working in with my EQ8, which I love. So, all right. But if you want this pattern, the Scrappy Curves, let me know. By tonight, I will have this all finished and scanned into the computer, and I will happily share that with you. OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. And all right, so now it's time to go look at photos. Photos from you. All right. Could you use Fresh Press? You probably could, but I want something I know is going to you know, but I'm sure you could use Fresh Press. I just love this starch because it'll turn it into almost cardboard. I want to know it's going to stay. It's like with my hairspray. I got to tell you this. This is so funny. This is what I use. You remember the old days of Aquanet? And it's not just Aquanet. It's extra super hold. I always tell Mark, It's the purple can. Get me 2 of them. Because if I don't just, the hair just, and that's it. So anyway, like I told you, if a little bit's good, a whole lot more might be better. So let's now look for photos, because I've got some cute ones from y'all. Thank you so much for sending them in to me. All right, here we go. All right. Now get my mouse. Oh, before I go here, I wanted to show you this wonderful. I'll tell you what, when I come back from doing photos, remind me to show you the pattern. Okay. That's why it comes with the plastic thing. Now, Diane 57, of course that sounds intelligent, but I just felt like I couldn't feel the vegetable good enough and let it flop. And if I had done it the intelligent way, I wouldn't have cut my finger. Meaning, Diane 57, it's me. I tend to do things in an odd way. Yes, I do. That's how I'm able to give you such wonderful warnings. Like, don't do this. Oh, I knew what you meant by best press. Okay, Alexis, I still have 2 of her wonderful things on here. I just love her imagination, that girl. Oh, and she's done some beautiful French knots right there. Let me see if I can bring this up. Look at those French knots. Way to go. And you know what? I didn't even realize. Look how she's done a harlequin pattern. There. Isn't that something? Good job, girlfriend. And hand embroidery's all the rage. And there's another one of hers. She just does a beautiful, beautiful job. All right. And buy stock in DMC floss. Okay, Miss Betty, let's see what she sent. Her beautiful landscape. I love this. It is just so beautiful. All right. Let me see if I can get this to stand upright better. Okay. Because I try to hold it over with my hand and it hurts my hand. Then look what Miss Betty did. She is the queen of multimedia. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. And I love those metallic paints. Susan said she got hers in. I wonder if she's tried them yet. They are so much fun. And look at this. She did the metallic paint in the butterfly and in the center flower. And then she used fabric and then the paints. And that just, to me, it's fun. It reminds me of being a kid and having construction paper and glue and scissors to it. Let me do one thing real quick. My computer screen was really messy. So let me just kind of wipe it across and then now. I don't want any of the dust to get on your beautiful art. So now we finish with Betty. Now we'll go to Carol. Oh, you know what? I forgot to go see Miss Carol's show yesterday. I will catch it on reruns. It's called The Magical Touch. Magical, I think she might, you know what, Carol? If you have another shortcut to your YouTube channel, hon, this woman is so amazingly talented. And she uses, talk about multimedia, she uses just about anything, little scrap threads, little cheesecloth, lace, you name it, beads, she uses it. And I love looking at her work. Okay, now let's go to the next one. These are just so sweet. She is teaching a tutorial on Saturday mornings on how to make a hand-embroidered scroll journal. Scroll. And it just shows you that she just takes little bits of things and turns them into treasures. So please check out The Magical Touch. Carol is very, very talented. Look at that. I love this. She and Nadine, I wish they could get together. It's amazing. They could conquer the world. And look, she takes encyclopedia pages and turns them into beautiful paintings. Encyclopedias that are a dinosaur nowadays and really don't have much in the way of value, she turns into works of art. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? Beautiful. Looks like some pen and ink and then watercolors and just beautiful. Look at the frogs. They're so cute. I love those cute little frogs. I love the watercolor washes. So, the Magical Touch. And look at her crocheted lace around this. So it's all special things. I guess this is gold metallic paint on the fabric. Just beautiful. Look at the edge stitching. Very nice, Miss Carol. Very nice. Now I'm pretty sure I had more. Yes, I do. I have her, Alex Anderson, that Embroider Your Way. Look at this. Isn't this great? And I'm liking how much more straight and perfectly round her items are. This one, I love that stitch. I can't wait to try it. Looks like she's put something under it. So it's like a tufted or trapunto work. I love that. So, I mean, her stuff is just, her imagination. She has an imagination like an elf. It's just charming. All right. Now, I do have more. Okay. No, wait a minute. I thought I had more. Hold on. Let me see. I think that was it. Okay. So I'm really tickled, and you see here that she has used regular quilter's cotton to do it. You don't have to have silk. And the main thing is discovering your interplay with hand embroidery stitches. Beautiful. Okay, now let's see whose we're going to go see. Charlene. I have something from Charlene Lawson. She's also doing the Alex Anderson's Embroider It Your Way. Look at those wonderful stitches, and I love the different colors of thread. I assume she was using variables. I've forgotten what you call that kind of thread, but where it's various colors in one spool. Very nice. And you notice her X's are pretty straight and even. Good job. I had a few little problems with that. So, and here are her two grand dogs, the golden retrievers with her little dog Holly. Oh, there you go. Very nice. Okay, let's see. Okay, next, Crystal and Jamie. And I'm just so proud of Crystal. I never tire of showing her wonderful first ever quilt. She sat at the machine and sewed it herself. I'm so proud of her. Talented little girl, let me tell you. She's growing up. Here she is giving her snowman a great big hug. And see this beautiful scene? I'm leaving it on here because this tree and this tree gave me so many great ideas. They went into my inspiration for a Thursday night winter landscape art quilt. So thank you for Miss Jamie for that inspiration. All right, let's see today. All right, here I am on the beach collecting those little treasures from the sea. Here is a wonderful, typical low country tree, just dripping with Spanish moss. That's just always, that's so interesting. A cute train I found for my grandson, Russell, and has the same initials, R and J, as my grandson. And this was just when I knew the ocean was right through there. When you look through the buildings and there's only sky, you know you're at the ocean. This was a cute little putt-putt park. Here was my room when I first entered it. There's the look off the balcony. And here's another view of my room. That's the only time it looked like that. Here's my red wagon full of stuff. I'm just arriving. Oh, man, it makes me want to go back. It was a lovely stay. Isn't that beautiful? Looking out from the balcony. Here I am. You can see how happy I was to get there. And here's looking down on the indoor pool. Dogs, hush. Hush. The indoor pool. See, Carol, mine bark too. And here is the lazy river that if it were summer, I'd be in that. That's my speed. Here's my little food counter. And I'm glad I took my own food because we had a nice storm. So here's the sewing area I set up right in front of the balcony. But it got so cold I had to move that further into the room. And here I am again. And here, at the end of a long day of sewing with my feet up and laying in the bed watching news, I'm sure. And there is the room set up to sew. Here are the 3 different sizes and pieces. Here is the ice storm that we had. And I'll be showing you what Pat woke up to this morning too. But this was the ice storm that covered everything. Luckily, being in South Carolina, it didn't last long. It soon melted. But it was fun. Although I worried about the palm trees. They looked so sad under that ice. Look at the icicles hanging off, and you can see the thickness of that ice. Then this was the final meal. Be sitting down without their mask, and the servers had no masks on. That didn't make me happy. So there I'm sitting, I'm waiting to just hold up my little quilt with my class, but I'm sitting very far away from everyone. I stayed away from everyone. Here I am with both my masks on. It's hard to breathe through an N95 mask and a cloth mask. And here, this woman did the most beautiful quilt. She fussy cut her centers, which were just enchanting. But we only had a certain amount of people who wore their masks like they were supposed to. And this is a little video I made of the complex. I always want to take you with me and have you feel as close to being there as you can be. Boy, if you were there with me, we'd have a blast. As long as we can get past this whole COVID thing. I love that pier out there. They had to close that due to the weather with the ice. It was just beautiful. If it had been 20 degrees warmer, I would have liked it that much better. I did go Sunday night. I went into the indoor pool, which is right there, right under here. It was so hot and steamy. It was awful. I did some exercising and then left and came back to the room. I'm like, I'm done. And the problem with where it is you have to walk outside to get back to your room. So it was cold. Okay, I think I got it. All right, is there anything else? Yes, Oh, we've been having an interesting little thing here. Do you see the birds in these trees? They are turkey vultures. Today, Mark said there were about 25 of them out there. I think they're getting very hungry and they're looking for anything. And so they're on both of these branches. And the other day I counted 14. He said today there had to have been 25 of them. So they're in this tree, they're in this tree, and they're in a tree up in my side yard too. So every day they've been coming by and we've been questioning, how are we feeling? Anybody feeling ill? Because when you see them gather, it makes you worried. This is the cow quilt I made a year ago in a class that I had, that I took a virtual class from Mancuso. My daughter put it up at her work. This is the daughter in Maryland, and she works with soil conservation, and farmers come in, and I hope they love seeing that. I love that cow. Then here is my grandson playing with my daughter Katie's pup, Russell, and they just played like two puppies. Is that the cutest thing? Isn't that cute? So I think that's it for me. Now let's see what else. Debbie Holt, she sent me some. So get ready. She's got some new pictures to show you. Whoops, let me see. Here we go. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. In fact, Debbie, you'll have to tell us how you did your applique because it looks lovely. So I'm always curious, did they do it hand applique? Did they do needle turn? Did they do raw edge, machine applique? Let me come back. Sorry, got a little lost here. Look at her wonderful red work quilt. What a happy, precious quilt that is. Let me make it a little bigger if you want to see some of those cute, cute, cute designs. I love it. All right, now let me see if I might have to, okay. Come on, there. Oh, this is pretty. I love quilts that have like an Irish chain effect that the blocks are connected by. That is beautiful. I love your colors and I love the stars. They almost, because of the different choices of colors, they almost sparkle. Okay, next one. Oh, beautiful. You call that a monkey wrench? I think there's another term for it too. I love that. I love seeing your quilts, and it doesn't matter whether you're working on them now or whether it's something you've done prior, because they all inspire us. I love her toile fabric, 2-color quilt. I've never done a 2-color quilt. I need to. That's beautiful. See how it inspires me? I think, oh, when am I going to do one of those? This is her beautiful applique. And I love, people always ask, how do you quilt an applique quilt? This is beautiful. It adds, but it doesn't overwhelm in any fashion. And it's cross-hatching. And it adds, but doesn't take away. I love that. And this is a picture from her. She sent out to have this quilted, and they quilted it with circles, all kinds of circles, which is wonderful. I always say in a geometric quilt, I look for curves to quilt it. So that's beautiful, hon. I love it. Great job. Can't wait to see more of it. So way to go, Debbie. All right, Miss Dolores. I love this chameleon. Oh my gosh, is this cute or what? Isn't that precious? And remember, she's in a wheelchair because she broke her knee, and she still probably has at least 6 weeks left before she can be mobile again. Then she'll have to do physical therapy. Be thinking of this dear woman. I tell you what, it's she's had a rough time, a painful time. And she's in the living room. She's taking a virtual class. Look at this eagle she's creating. Isn't that magnificent? It's going to be something else, let me tell you. Then here is her husband, bless his heart, has taken and turned the living room into a sewing, creating room for her because she can't do stairs. She's got to just stay in her wheelchair. So she can't put any weight on her leg. So she's something else. And the best way to heal, stay creative. The best way to deal with pain, stay creative. So here are Miss Jody's. I love her applique work. She's doing it, I believe she said raw edge machine. And also at the same time, she's working on the Alex Anderson embroidery. Love it. Now look at this. Look how much she has done with that beautiful, beautiful applique work. Tiny little berries. That's just beautiful. Way to go. I love her colors, everything. Thank you, Miss Jody. Okay. Kathy Boyd. Let's see. Here is Kathy Boyd's fabric rug that she made for either her son or grandson. I have failed to ask her every time. I love that. And then look at this beautiful, beautiful batik quilt. Batiks are magic, aren't they? So thank you, Miss Kathy. Okay, now let's see. Let's go to Miss Mary's. Miss Mary, I'm doing this to give inspiration for Susan, for Jody. This is her farmer's wife quilt that she did, I think she said last year. But isn't that amazing? That's one of those things that, boy, you do them one time. That is gorgeous. Love, love, love it. Then this was her multiple background quilt that I still love. Then here is her Christmas block of the week quilt that she finished. I am so proud of her. First time she ever paper pieced. She did an outstanding job. And then I left a snow view of her beautiful, beautiful wilderness out there. And look at this pretty quilt. And the reason that I'm so attached to this one is look at how this piano key border was quilted. By doing those ray type quilting lines, it just gives such movement to those borders. So I'm going to remember that, Miss Mary. That's brilliant. Okay. Now, who are we going to? Miss Marcia. One fabric. Okay, Miss Marcia. Here is, look at this. She's making a design on this wonderful plaid. And I can't wait to see what all she's going to do to it. So way to go, Miss Marcia. And then she had some snow too. So she wanted to share her snow out in Nebraska. Now let's see. Who are we going to next? Miss Melanie. Her last time to show her exquisite artwork on these cookies. That is devotion to art. Isn't that wonderful? All that special work for something that's going to be eaten, and I love it. I think that is the true artist spirit. Then here are her pups. They're so cute. Boy, they give us such joy, don't they? What would we do without them? It wasn't that long ago that people felt like dogs didn't belong in the house. Well, thank goodness that has changed. And then, are you ready to see what Miss Pat woke up to this morning? Now, you have to understand, this is at the beach in South Carolina. They don't get snow that often. So what a fun treat that was for Miss Pat. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Now, let's see. I think, oops, that might be our last one. So please send your photos to me at OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com, because we love seeing anything you'd like to share. Things that make you happy, your grandchildren, your wonderful pups, whatever your work, in whatever you create. It doesn't have to be quilting. It could be actually anything you enjoy. Whoops, let me get my camera set up. All right. I realize too, every time I touch that camera, now I realize the sound kind of makes a noise. That's not good. So, all right. So don't forget, thank you, Miss Carol. Don't forget too that, don't forget that, don't forget that I just forgot. I don't remember what I was going to say, but I'm going to show you this pattern, and I think I haven't forgotten anything but that. This quilt with the big flowers is going to be 84 inches square. You can make them though. Luckily with this pattern, you can choose what size you'd like to make it. This pattern is called Wind Swept. WINDSWEPT. Wind Swept. It's really charming, and it is by On Williams Street. You can find this pattern on Etsy. On Williams Street is the vendor, and I think it's like $10.50 and $10.50. And the best thing is she has a PDF download. So you pay your money and you click on download it, your printer prints it out, you are ready to go. So that to me is the way of the future. Do everything by computer. All my patterns that I make, I save them as PDFs so I can shoot them out to you in an email or put them on the site. But anyway, and you can decide what colors you want to make. And this pattern comes with the actual size template. So you have everything you need to get started right away. So this is by On Williams Street. And now I'm at the point where I'm going to be assembling the two partial blooms. This bloom and this I'm doing out of turquoise, or yeah, I guess you would call it the turquoise. And I can't wait to see what they look like. That's my favorite color. So I decided to make the half flowers out of that because it has more of a presence in this pattern. All right. I know I'm finishing a little early tonight, but that's a good thing. I think I can go binge watch some good show on Netflix or Acorn and do some more of my hand applique. Before I go, I always like to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. Okay. Debbie says, I got the pattern for that star quilt in Fayetteville. The love quilt. Oh, that is so cool. I know just what you're talking about. Drove past Fayetteville to, if you're talking about the one in North Carolina, to go to the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. So, Mary's comments got retracted. Needle turn is turning the fabric under as you go. Yes, it's when you have like a piece of fabric like this, and let me get this down here. Okay, let me grab a needle. It would help to have my eyeglasses on. I know you would think by now that I would be used to wearing eyeglasses, but my cataracts had gotten so bad that I had what's called second sight, which I could read without my glasses again. But then when I had my cataract replaced or removed, then now I, have to go back to wearing reading glasses. Pardon my rough fingernails, but what you do is, let's say you're going to applique this. This is the fabric you're going to applique this onto. This is actually, believe it or not, this is actually a needle. This is a betweens that I use when I do hand quilting. Believe it or not, that's a tiny needle. But let's say you want to applique. For needle turn, it's exactly what it sounds like. Let me see if I can get my hand angled right. You take the fabric and you take the needle and you run it along the edge of the fabric and see how it turns it for you. And then you would come along and do your tiny little stitches. You'd move to the next place. You would put the needle, you tuck the edge of that fabric with the needle, and look how well it turns. So that's needle turn applique. Raw edge would be you leave the edge as it is and you just come and sew, and you either sew a straight stitch or you can do a blanket stitch or whatever. So there's all different kinds of ways that you can do applique. And it's actually become one of my favorite things because I can sit upstairs at the end of the day. You can only sit, as you get older, you can only sit but for so long in front of a sewing machine. Any other questions? You like a long straw needle for applique? Yes, straw needles, Milner's, applique needles, and I keep lots on hand. Because with applique needles, they tend to be longer and thinner, they tend to bend. So you have to throw them away more often. So I just keep plenty on hand. Any other, Mary, Mary has the sweetest spirit. She just makes me feel so good. Melissa Lamb is here. Hi, sweetie. Did y'all get any snow? Jody says, wow, I only have 49 blocks done. 49, that's a lot of blocks. Jody, I give you a hand. That's good job, hon. Oh my gosh. Isn't that so funny? I think that was a lot. Oh, did we lose our Susan? I think we lost our Susan. And, our Nikki. You got 6 inches. All right. That's pretty darn good. All righty. I don't see any new questions, but don't forget, if you want what did I do with it now? I think I set it here. I just did a new quilt pattern that uses that curve piecing method I showed you earlier. If you arrived later, go back and look. And I showed you the easiest way to sew this curve. Anybody can do it. So I made this pattern up, and that you can ask for it. And that way you can use it scrappy, whatever way you want. Then also, I'm going to sit here as soon as I'm done, finish our winter landscape. We do Art Quilt Thursdays. We do our landscapes and art quilts. And I'm going to finish this pattern, and then I will scan it into the computer and have it available for free to anybody who wants it. I just love making the patterns and giving them to you if you'd like. Feel free to change anything you want. It gets me excited when I see you take something that I started with and then you run with it, especially if you change it and make it your own. All right, I think that's just about it. And, you're getting a new puppy this week. Well, guess what? I know, Jody, but that's pretty darn good to have made 49 blocks. My goodness gracious. That is wonderful. And also, I'm tickled, Melissa, you're getting a new puppy. Our Diane 57 got a new puppy too, a 9-week-old red little toy poodle. Oh boy, that's exciting. All right, everybody, it was great spending today with you. And I hope you all stay warm and cozy during this cold, weird weather that keeps sweeping through the country. And I will see some of you on Thursday night for our art quilt. I will see the rest of you next Sunday. And I'll have something interesting to show you. But hopefully, I will have made great progress on that quilt. So cross our fingers. All right, take good care. You're the best. Don't forget, take good care of yourself. Can't take care of others unless you take care of yourself first. Okay? Bye-bye. See you Thursday and next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much to my moderators today, Miss Carol, Diane, and Susan. Bye-bye, guys.